Hi, this is Charles, and I wanted to give a brief introduction to Black Powder by Warlord Games. It covers a lot of different types of eras inside of the Black Powder system. You've got Civil War, Revolutionary War, American Rifleman, all kinds of good stuff. The book is really nicely laid out. There's a very nice table of contents. There's information on the different eras of Black Powder, how the armies are laid out. Very nice graphics, very easy to read. Talks about the organizational structure here, how the units are laid out. And if you're familiar with Bolt to Action, so far it looks very similar. You've got a general, brigade commanders, and units underneath each brigade commander. It's got a sample of a troop, like the British Infantry Battalion, regular infantry, smoothbore muskets, its value for hand-to-hand combat, shooting, morale, stamina, and all that. And then on the other page here, it goes into each one of those values in detail. You've got information here on the different types of troops and the different sizes you can have. So you can have 24 to 30 models in a standard size army, or you could have a large army with 36 to 40 models, small as 12 to 16, and tiny as 5 to 6. So it seems like there's a good variety of scenarios that can be played with even smaller units, which is good if you're starting out in the hobby like myself. It talks about casualty markers, your staff rating, which is how good your general is, and this is used to perform order tests. You roll 2 dice, and if you roll this number or less, it determines how many moves you get, or if you get a move at all. If you fail the rating by going higher than this number, you don't get to do anything. I think it's like an 8. If you match your commander's rating, you might get to do 1 order, and if you do 2 or less than your commander's rating, then you might get up to 3 moves for the same order, so which is pretty cool. Some nice pictures here, and talks about the bases and how those are to be set up. Talks about the different types of units, which are basically regulars and irregulars. Regulars are armies, British, French, etc. Irregulars are like the Zulus, warband parties that fight in a disorderly format. There's different types of formations you can do. Those familiar with Napoleonics will know that line formation is basically forming a line and putting every bullet possible forward. This is probably the best way to fire at a range. Attack column is better for close combat, where you're basically forming rank and file and you're pressing into somebody. The march column is the fastest moving on the board, but everybody is in a format and a line, and if you get attacked in this formation, you basically have a very difficult time to respond. Over here you've got skirmish order, where units are disordered on the board, causing havoc for your units, and much more difficult to shoot as a group. You can take out an individual unit easier. Mixed order is where part of the unit is formed in skirmish mode and the other part forms a main line behind them. And then the warband is typically used by the Zulus or disorderly type units. Forming square is basically a way for infantry to keep cavalry away from them. The disadvantage to forming square is that each one of your rifles is pointing out, so you only effectively get one line of fire going this way, one line of fire going this way, one line going this way, and this way. And if you put a line formation up against a square, a unit in square, you're going to have a full firepower of all 4 versus the 1 effective side of the square. Infantry in a line against a square is dangerous, but typically units go in square against cavalry to keep their bayonets pointed out and keep the cavalry away from them. Unit seems very simple so far. Basically, you select the lead unit in the front, and you pivot the whole unit basically on that one lead unit. So you'll take this one unit in the square, keep him to the front, and effectively line everybody up behind him, in the same way with changing formation back to a line. You have different ways to flank someone. This is your front flank, right flank, left flank, and your rear. Of course, your front flank is where you can fire out of. Right, left, and rear are very dangerous to you, and this will affect the firepower that you have in a game, or lack thereof, if you get attacked from the rear. Talks about artillery and how artillery has to be limbered and unlimbered. Basically, an unlimbered artillery is set up and ready to fire. Unlimbered is moving artillery, so in a position to where the guns are attached. Sorry about that. The guns are attached to a horse and ready to move. Talks about brigade formations and how units are set up on the board within 6 inches of each other, and the brigade commander has a command radius. It goes over the game rules, getting ready to play. The sequence of events, basically the first player has their command phase, the shooting phase, the hand-to-hand phase. Then the other player has their hand-to-hand, or the same sequence of turns there. Talks about learning the game and orders and how you can declare an order in simple English. Then you roll 2 dice to check to see if you are able to do that order. So as I said before, if the score is greater than the commander's staff rating, the test is failed and no order is issued. If the order is equal to the commander's rating, or 1 less, the command is issued and acted upon. If it's 2 or less, you get the order is speedily issued and acted upon immediately and can make up to 2 moves. And if it's 3 or less than the commander's staff rating, the order is issued in anticipation of events and hurriedly obeyed, and it can make 3 moves. That can be really deadly in this game. But it's all about fun. It's not really about historical accuracy in this game. You can have what we used to call a foobar. And if you roll a 12 during your order test, it can be really bad. A blunder is what they call it in this game. There's some charge orders here. Haven't really got into that yet. Here are the blunders listings. So some of the blunders that can happen when you do have a roll of 12. You roll on this table. You can have a rapid retreat, a move to the left, move to the right, move forward, and charge. And so far what I've been reading, it's very easy to read, very well laid out, and very good at explaining Napoleonic tactics in a simplified manner. So I've tried to play some of the other ones, and they're a little overly complicated. This is the first one I've been able to sit down and read, and kind of had a good time reading it. Lots of nice pictures. Lots of great explanations about how things work in the game. Line of sight. Lots of good samples. So I'm hoping to give you more on this game later as I get a chance to play the game. But for right now, I just wanted to show you the rule book, and so far I'm really enjoying it. Take care.